Well, a very good evening and a very warm welcome to 2Macs&aDram with Hector Macbeth and myself, Guy MacDonald, brought to you by Liquor City Claremont. And tonight we're very excited to introduce to you a locally produced product that comes from Simondium. As you might see on your screen there, Queen of Rum Row, Gerties Premium Rum. And our guests tonight are the founders, the owners, the chief bottle washers of Gertie's Rum, Emma Wilson and Brendan Rice. Lovely to have you joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Guy.
This is terribly exciting because, of course, it's locally produced rum at a time when I would imagine that worldwide the sugar industry has taken a bit of a hit, and specifically we see it in KZN, where so many of the sugarcane farms are being depleted because, there's better money in selling the property and building a lodge or a housing estate or such. So I imagine that you coming in at this stage and saying, well, we want to buy your sugarcane for rum is quite helpful to everyone up there.
We need you to buy more and then we can buy more. Do you want to do this one?
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess our buying power is a little bit small at the moment to make a huge dent, but hopefully one day.
Yeah, so tell me, guys, how is that actually? I mean, there's been a big sugar tax that's come through. So you sort of just start up a rum business and now you're already paying excise and duty. And now is the sugar tax really affecting the bottom line, and how dramatically is it?
Well, the way we work it is we've got a price that we're paying the distiller because we have somebody who's distilling for us. So that's something that they struggle with. It's not really for us to worry about.
I mean, it affects our bottom line, but we haven't, being so new into it, and with lockdown and not being able to sell like we would plan to, because we only launched on the 4th of March and we went into lockdown on the 22nd or 23rd of March.
21st, I think, yeah.
So it's been quite difficult to actually ascertain where we're at, to be honest with you. So the sugar tax hasn't affected us as yet. I'm sure it will in the future with more sales and more volumes as they go through. But
and also with the cost just coming through the system. Yeah.
So I'm sure we will be affected. But right now, as it stands, it hasn't been. We've also got a lot on barrel, so we've already paid for all that liquor already and paid excise on that. So we're okay for now, but that might change, as I say.
Yeah, and I suppose Coca-Cola, the mixer is getting quite affected as well. Eh?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's ramifications throughout the industry.
If I may take us all just a step or two back, for those who are just watching for the first time and might not be familiar with your brand, would you mind just introducing yourselves to us in terms of how you came to be the founders of this brand?
Sure. You want to take this one in?
Okay, I'll take this one. It all started actually 2 years ago when I did a shoot. My main source of income is I'm a food stylist in the film industry. So I get to speak to a lot of different people in various different ways and forms. And I actually managed to speak to and do a shoot with a SA bartender of the year that year. And I happened to mention to him, so what's the next big thing after gin? And he said to me, rum. And I was like, rum? No, never. Back to my student days, I thought, oh, this is Spice Gold and Coke days, But it didn't leave me. And I, being a little bit entrepreneurially based, I decided to take a little ganders down to see if there was, and there was. And I spoke to Brendan. Brendan and I have worked together in the film industry, and in winter, we get a little bit bored with ourselves because we don't have as much film work going on. And I said to him, he actually said to me, why don't we do this as a winter project? So we got onto the internet and thought, let's get a pot still. And we had all these grandiose ideas of actually doing something, and realized that this was not maybe our forte. But it was something to explore. And finding different routes of different distillers who could contract for us took a little bit of time and marketing to see if there was actually something in South Africa that we could. And the more we went down the rabbit hole, the more we wanted to do it. And here we are, product in hand.
Yeah, fantastic. personally, I also always believed rum was on its way up all the time. And for me, it's probably the most diverse brown spirit out there. I compare it, I'm more a single malt whiskey guy, but rum is my favorite ugly cousin, almost, as it were. But when it comes to the mixability, there's nothing on planet Earth that can touch rum, also because of the different styles. So obviously you did a lot of internet research and you came up with someone that can help you. So you've chosen Samodium to do the craft. So let's start at that sort of basic first principle. Have you decided to use sort of rum agricole style where you're using cane sugar, or you're going for molasses as a byproduct?
No, it's a molasses. It's a molasses that we're using. So it's not the agricole. And then the yeast that we use is not, it's a wine yeast. So we're not coming up with a Jamaican style rum. It's quite a unique sort of, I like to call it a South African style, or a Cape style rum.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's always been amazing that South Africa hasn't sort of been bigger in the rum game with all our sugar and cane. I mean, in 2007, Mainstay Cane was voted the world's best vodka. So we know we make a good sea spirit, and we really can produce some very clean, beautiful white spirit. So it surprised me that we even looked at maybe a cachaça style. You've obviously chosen to do a whitewash. You want to quickly sort of explain to the people out there what you mean with a whitewash?
Sure, just to go back to what you were saying now, that was the main impetus, I think, for us to actually do this project, was that if you look at around the world, every sugarcane producing nation has got a large plantations of rum. And I just couldn't understand why we didn't have such an understanding for what South African rum could actually do, and why we had neglected it so much, and why we were always, you know, going for the regular mills, and we weren't doing something that was craft driven, because it can be. So that really was exciting from that perspective in terms of going to the rum. But onto your question about the whitewash. The white, you know, there's two markets here that we're really trying to attract. Is the whitewash was purely dedicated towards your cocktail drinkers and your mixing. And your gold rum was specifically for your whiskey drinkers who would enjoy it straight on the rocks, or mixed with a Coke if you wanted to, but could stand alone. That's what we were trying to go for. So two very different markets, but in the same way, if that makes any sense. But the whitewash is exactly the same as the gold. It's just been put through carbon. So it still has the same flavor notes as the gold. It still has the same properties as the gold. It just doesn't have the color, although it does have a slight tinge to the color from the barrel.
Oh,
we've lost you.
He's just muted himself.
So
sorry about that. So when you say you're aging it in oak barrels, what oak barrels are you using? And are you using different barrels for the white and the gold, or are you using the same barrel and then just washing the white afterwards?
We wash the white afterwards. It's a bourbon barrel. And essentially we can make a white and a gold out of the same barrel, because it is the same liquid. So yeah, we can, if we need just a small bottling of white and gold, we can take one barrel and split it into the two. And
when you say small, what are the volumes that you're kind of doing at the moment?
Well, we to get the flavors into the you know, from the barrel into the liquid, we've gone with small barrels of 50 liters. That's kind of what we're doing. Yeah. So it would need to age it a lot longer to get the flavor profiles if we went with bigger barrels, because obviously you've got less surface area in contact with the liquid. So yeah, that's the theory about it.
We were very much guided by Stillman, who are distillers, as to aging, and it was very important that we had a slight woody smokiness, but not overpowering. And so we had to give it a minimum of 6 months to get that round mouthfeel for the gold. And that was quite important for us, not to rush the process, so to speak. So this hasn't been something that we've kind of thought of in the first year and then the next year we had it. It's been a bit of a process, and I think that we've honored the process of the rum by going smaller, being more unique. It has been more expensive to do it that route, but I think it's paid off, to be honest with you. And I mean, you will know you've tried it.
Oh, we're going to try it with you again tonight. So so that's the beauty of 2Macs&aDram. So we've poured a little bit of the whitewash out already. Guy, I hope you have too. Guy
Yes,
obviously has got a much heavier arm than me, so.
Let's compare how heavy. I think that's a bit heavy, eh?
Guy's never lost that. Guy's never lost that competition. He's always got a much bigger pour.
No, that's the problem with having rum on tap is it's always open. So.
I must say, for me, the nose is very interesting because the most fascinating thing with me with any liquor is how the nose of a spirit can take you immediately to the geographical position, and this takes me straight into, once the sugar cane's just been burnt down and they're stacking it high, you get that slight hint of smoke, but then there's that green dry note that just sort of lingers through the middle. That's why I was quite keen to know, because it reminds me more of an agricole style rather than a sort of dark or spice style. So it does have that sort of green freshness, but it's got this beautiful haystack note that comes on the back end sort of as a dry note as well. And then a bit of citrus and then a little bit of vanilla from the American oak, but not too much.
Look, you know, the yeast that we use also plays a big part in the flavor profiles. So during the trial periods, we tried out a number of different yeasts until we found something that we liked, that was giving us something that we liked.
There's Bernard saying something.
No, I mean, I'm loving the nose. I really do. On the palate as well, it's essentially a rum. I mean, there's no doubt in your mind when you drink it that it speaks of rum, and it's got this lovely molasses tone through the middle of it, and it's got this real sort of dark wooded note that comes through, and then it starts to sort of play between nutmeg and spice for me. But I really enjoy the palate. I don't know what you're getting, Guy.
I'm also getting a kind of a hint of licorice on this white one, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely round mouthfeel as well, and it certainly doesn't it doesn't burn, it doesn't attack your palate. It's got a lovely smooth entry. I mean, I know you're making it for mixing purposes, but it could be sipped with a block or three of ice, I imagine. I mean, it's that smooth.
I must say that when we had our launch, we had majority bartenders and whiskey drinkers actually at the launch, and it was a very small launch, just to kind of get people to know about it. And then we were going to have this plan of attack, but that didn't happen. But the interesting thing is that the whitewash was way more popular with the bartenders because it didn't have that harsh note, harsh flavor at the end, even though it's going to be mixing. They absolutely loved sipping it, which was really surprising for us, because normally you wouldn't kind of think that of a white rum.
I suppose in a way what that means is, and Hector can echo this better, he's the cocktail guru between the two of us here, is that it doesn't argue with any other ingredient that you put in. It just
overpower. Yeah.
It doesn't overpower, yeah.
But if you notice now, we've been talking and having air going through, it's still smooth, it's still lingering, but it's not overpowering, and it still kind of sits at the back, which I really like, to be honest with you. And I always have our distiller actually told us once that with ladies, it's a big problem with the rum drinking, and it's an education to get ladies to drink more rum. And he said to us, all you have to do is ask ladies which are their 3 favorite cocktails, and I'll bet you that every single cocktail has rum in it. And it's always quite interesting when you speak to ladies, oh, no, I don't drink rum. And you say, okay, well, yeah. And invariably 2 of the 3 will have rum on it. But I do believe that making a good cocktail with good products is going to outshine anything else. But that lingering note really helps the smoothness.
I get a lot of butterscotch now with time as well.
Mm. Oh, you're picking up all the notes that we asked for, so that's good.
Yeah, it definitely, I love the mouthfeel of it. It really does give us, and what I enjoy about it is it really gives me the weight that we're looking for. When I say the weight, it almost feels like your tongue is depressed as it dries out. You sort of feels like someone putting weight on it. Now that for me means this is cigar material through and through and through. So you can sip this slowly and you can have a nice sort of Cuban cigar with it, and it's going to beautifully interact with the tobacco. If you're not into your tobacco notes, you can obviously always use coffee to sort of fulfill that. But whenever you're going to get that beautiful dry palate as well, it tells us that this thing can mix really, really well. And do you treat it sort of as a typical sort of white rum? Are you sort of aiming at that sort of white style cocktail base with it as well? Because it does have, it's somewhere between Havana and Bacardi. It's sort of got a good middle ground between those two.
Look, to be honest with you, yes is the answer to that, the short answer to that. We are trying to market it as a mixing rum. Just purely to differentiate it from the gold more than anything else. So yeah, I don't know if you want to add to that.
I think it does mix better than the gold.
It does. I do think so. I mean, it's a bit, I don't know, in my head it kind of feels a bit sacrilege.
But we're also not precious about it. So
no,
if you want to drink it with Coke, drink it with Coke.
Absolutely. I mean, a Cuba Libre is a highly underrated drink, and I promise you it's a killer drink. But I was thinking
not so much.
I was thinking quite hard about this because I tried it on the weekend, and right at the end I'll reveal the cocktail that we had on the weekend. But because we want to sort of put this African style into it, a Cuban Liberal is a phenomenal white-based cocktail, and it obviously has a sort of sweeter vermouth mixed with it, and then it also has like a sort of a bitter orange note inside it. So I'm thinking if you and Badenhorst with their aperitif can sort of tie up, I reckon you can get a good sort of African slant on a Cuban Liberal cocktail. So definitely one to look at.
Chemist when it comes to flavors, so would love to do something like that. I mean, there's so much scope with it, and that's what's so exciting is that we really are at the start. And to join with other local spirits, and I mean, you know that there's all these non-alcoholic things that are coming out now as well. Doesn't mean to say you can't mix with them. There's so much scope with Fynbos. There's so much scope with honey. Local honey is amazing, and it will bring out those notes as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Honey Daiquiri will definitely sing some proper tunes there. Okay, so let's have a look at what you sort of have given us, a little card of what you would consider to be the perfect serve, because I'm also getting that from the panel. Yeah, they want to know, what would you say is the perfect serve with this rum?
So the first one that I gave you was on the whitewash rum, which is called Gertie's Ginger, I think it's called. That's the gold. Yeah, yep. There it is there, the Ginger Gertie. And what we wanted to do is we didn't want to add too many things to this. We wanted to keep it quite neutral, but we found that the ginger notes really work very well with the white. And so I can make it with you if you want, or Brendan can talk you through it and I'll make it and bring it over.
Yeah, well, I'll make it.
No, you chat.
I see it says there we must gently sort out the mint leaves. So I've got a little muddler with me, so I can sort of gently sort it out. So I hope that's going to work. I'm going to grab some mint leaves.
Is that what you use at Rondebosch Boys when the result doesn't go your way?
It's a muddler. It's just a gentle press.
You can also
just slap it in your hands.
Just to release those oils.
Just a gentle one. Yeah.
That's maybe a bit of overkill. I don't know.
It's so gentle. Absolutely. So we just released the flavor, obviously, of the mint, and then we're doing a double shot of Gertie's, correct?
That's correct. Double shot of Gertie. I think you should bring everything over here and just make it, yeah.
And then we top that with some ginger ale.
Yeah. And there you have it.
Very refreshing.
Have we put any ice in this yet? I'm a bit.
Yeah, you put the ice in first in the glass.
Yeah.
Are we having crushed ice or blocks of ice?
Blocks of ice.
Blocks, nice big ones if you can, guy.
That's a whole lot of ice, but this is
just two nice big solid blocks, just to keep it chill. And then a gentle little stir, you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that looks very similar to what I've got here. So I've added some lime as well, some lime slices. just to give it a little bit more acid instead of it being
Sure.
so sweet. And then what I like to do, which is not on your recipe, but what I think really makes a big difference, is I like to add some bitters, some Angostura bitters. If you have there, add it in. But kind of reminds me
I've
of
got some
a
burlesque.
little bit.
I got some burlesque bitters, which is proper
Yeah.
stuff.
The real
Yeah.
deal.
So I'll put some of that in.
I just feel like the ginger ale sometimes can be too sweet.
Yeah,
And,
I'm getting that a little bit on the sweet note. Just
And
gonna
I
get
just
4.
like to tone it down a little bit. So cheers.
Then a little gentle stir.
Huh?
I'm with you. The bitters add the balance that we're looking for. The ginger ale, especially that one that I use, is a little bit on the sweet side.
Yeah.
So definitely would put some bitters to get a bit more better balance. And I don't know if you follow Julian Short from Syntax.
Yes, enjoy
He
it.
almost always puts a pinch of Malden salt in almost everything he does. And I'm telling you, it's making a big difference in my life as well. It really is. It's
Well,
bringing
make-
out beautiful notes when you're using salt as well. So I can imagine that gives you that fifth element that the Eastern guys always bring in. We always sort of forget as Westerners.
It's that umami. I mean, it's the same for me with food. It's just bringing out that little extra little edges that you wouldn't have normally, or nuances that you would have had before. So yeah, bottoms up. This is a great.
Good.
So the nice thing about this is that it's cheers, Guy.
Cheers.
Slanjava.
Ron
my
Buck.
throat there.
It's a very nice summer drink.
Mm.
Very nice, refreshing drink. But that's our perfect serve for the white.
Sure.
I have made a couple of other things as well with the white, which are just as good. But if you want something simple that's easy to get in the store and make at home, this is it. So we wanted to make it as easy as and accessible for people to make at home, not these high flying, need the back legs of a fly to make this, it's just simple things. So yeah.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the dark one now. If you can just talk us through the process involved over there. Obviously, it's the same process, but then just from there, sort of also looking towards the perfect third.
So the gold, let's have a little smell of this. What do you think of our bottle, by the way?
Love it. Absolutely love it. I've always done them in little 200 milliliters with a little swing top for all my syrups and mixes and stuff. So love the swing top. A bit of Grolsch in us.
I was just about to comment on this and say I love the fact that you've gone with this for recycling purposes. I mean, long live this bottle.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that was the idea behind it, was that it would be something that would be reused. Water in the fridge, whatever,
Yeah, no, it's been one of our biggest pluses, I would say, was going this route with the bottle. We really wanted something that was unique. The whole concept of Gerties is about prohibition rum. And I don't know if you know about the story of Gerties. We can get into that a little bit later, but it had to be authentic to the story. And the story is...
Tell the story now, I think. Tell the story.
Okay. So Gertie was one of the first female rum runners in the Prohibition time. Her name was Gertrude Lythgoe. We've nicknamed her Gerties because Gertrude is a little bit of a long word to put on a bottle. And I just really liked her story because she was a gunslinging beauty and she took no prisoners when she did business. And she learned the business from her partner in crime, who was William McCoy, which is where the saying, the real McCoy, comes from, because he never watered down his booze in the Prohibition time. I just loved the whole thing, the romance, the Prohibition side, the kind of sticking donner. I just loved it. And luckily, Brendan liked it too. So here we are with Gertie on the front, which was done by a tattoo artist in the style of 1920s. We wanted to make her slightly sexy, but not too leery. And then we needed a bottle that was going to be of that time, but still relevant for today. And the whole reusable, recyclable, really was a big appeal as well. And so we saw this, and that was that. And I'm so glad we did, to be honest with you, because the idea would be that you could make syrups and put it back into this empty bottle to use for more cocktails, or water in the fridge, or salad dressings. It's just so versatile, you know, so you can really use it for anything.
I can tell you what this bottle is going to be used for next. We have a 5-liter cask of olive oil, and my wife wanted to go out and buy a bottle. And I said, just wait, we just need to finish some more.
You better get drinking.
Emma, how many, just an aside, how many people, when they meet you, refer to you, are you Gertie? Are you
No,
Gertie?
it's not Gertie in South Africa, it's Gertie.
Oh, are you Gertie?
I have a good laugh at that, and I go, no, it's not Gertie, but okay, we'll let it slide because we're in Africa. But no, they don't actually. Interestingly, amazingly, a lot of people read the story on the back of the bottle. Yeah, I'm not.
Quite a long story as well. Have a look there.
It is a little bit of a long story. Yeah. But yeah, so that's.
It is indeed fascinating, and I think the big problem with the resurgence of rum and prohibition and all that is, you know, like we're all wishing so hard that it could happen to us, and look what just happened this year. We had plagues, we had prohibition. You know, it's not all it's cut out to be. Let me tell you. But I also fall into that romantic view. But that's all the more reason you must get yourself some burlesque bitters. Because that's obviously from that sort of stylistic, the 1920s style of cocktails as well, from that sort of whole era. But it is so fascinating that we've all gone back, and alcohol is always cyclical, you know. And I'm so glad to be back in the 1920s where jazz was fun and prohibition was good, and we dodged people and bootlegged, and it's great to be part of that. And I really love the packaging. I think you've done really well.
Great, thank you.
If you see in 2 years' time that Portuguese restaurants are taking it a lot more, it's for those second-hand peri-peri sauces, but you know why.
We know we've made it.
So onto the nose of this, I must say it's very similar to the white, but everything is sort of, whereas the white is all about finesse and subtleness, this is just in your face. It's got the dry, it's got the haystack, it's got the molasses, it's got, and it's probably from the wine yeast where you're getting that sort of vegetal note that comes through. So it's like a high concentration of everything we had before. Whereas the first one was a bit elegant, this one's just full in your face, how we expect rum to be, but underlyingly absolutely beautiful in the mouth. It's just soft, gentle, with smooth edges, lots of spiciness, something really to linger.
So this,
I'm getting a lovely orange and a kind of a ginger on the nose for me.
Yeah, which is why we suggested in the perfect serve with the orange rind, not orange as in the flesh, because I think that's too overpowering, but with the rind, you just kind of
just a bit of orange zest.
Just
really
gives it a little bit more hint while you know, sipping on it. But yeah, amazing that you are picking up on those notes. I still pick up the licorice in the gold.
On the palate.
On the palate. And the biggest thing for me, what I like about this, I'm a whiskey drinker. I love whiskey, so I prefer the Irish style, but I can't handle that kind of heaviness on the throat. And this is so smooth that I happily will drink this if I don't have any whiskey on ice, like I would normally just have a whiskey. And that was quite important for whiskey drinkers to be able to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, as a whiskey drinker, I can definitely say, and so I've gone overkill again. I've taken Nachi and orange because you suggested either or. So I said, well, that means both. So I'm putting those inside there, and immediately, obviously, the orange and the Nachi note comes from the oils I've just pressed in there. But it's amazing how the rum then just highlights that even more, and then it gets a beautiful sort of balance coming through, which is, guys, please invest in some sherry casks. Buy yourself some PX casks, buy yourself some Oloroso casks, put your rum into that, because I promise you, the whiskey guys know that it works for them. The rum guys don't always do it. Those that are are doing very good things. It just breaks down the sweetness a little bit and gives you sort of more natural fruity sweetness as opposed to that sort of molasses sweetness. So it's just different, but beautiful
Nice
stuff.
little experiment, special reserve there.
Yeah, exactly. I'll buy a case.
Okay, good. We'll call it Hector's Barrels.
Exactly.
I must just tell you, Emma and Brendan, that there's a large compliment that's being dished out your way quietly by Hector, because usually when we do these tastings, we always have it neat, then we add water, and then we talk about how the water changed it. He skipped the water and going straight to the cocktail.
Straight
Loved it. It's a big compliment.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
We'll take it.
No, that's great news.
Getting a question here from Bernard Gutman. He would like to know, where are these rums available? Obviously, we know it's at Liquor City Claremont because they are the sponsor. But where else can we find these rums?
So at the moment, you can find it predominantly online on Take-A-Lot. And on the odd occasion, we have a special running on one day only. And then we have it in Cape Town in store at Barkeeper
And
obviously Liquor City.
And Norman Goodfellows.
All the Norman Goodfellows in South Africa as well. We are trying to work on more retail outlets. That wasn't actually our initial plan to go retail so quickly. We were trying to do it through the bars, but of course it's been very difficult to do that. And the bootleggers, all the bootlegger stores in the Western Cape.
In the Western Cape.
Western Cape
liquor
have got,
licenses,
yeah.
got it,
Yeah, because it kind of fits their whole vibe, you know, bootlegger.
So bootleggers, the coffee shops.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But some of them have got liquor licenses and they stop.
Okay.
Mm.
Sorry, Guy, you were saying something there?
No, I was just saying, I know somebody who is a bootlegger, so
We've
could
got
move it for you.
I'm trying to become a pirate. That's why I'm growing the beard. I'm growing up.
I want to ask, can we talk about the beard very quickly? It's off the topic completely, but somebody did ask a question about it. Hector, how did you get that just there to be brown, like the Pablo?
100% natural. Where it's grey now used to be ginger when I was in my 20s, so that's why I never grew it. But now it's coming out white, but that seems to stay.
That's a talented beard you have there, sir.
All by itself. We'll see. So
if
like
we
I
move
said, on the
to-
weekend, I was at a friend's house, and his son and my son are both 19 years old now and found themselves in a gap year that didn't happen. So we've sent them on a few bar courses. So they said, what would you like to drink? And I said, no, I'd love to have a meal. And they said, well, they didn't have any vodka. So I said, well, do you have any white rum? And they happened to have a bottle of Gerties, which was kind of quite weird. So Tim Kelly made our creation. So I've given Guy all the ingredients. So we're just going to make a typical style of meal, and we're going to use a cinnamon syrup instead of a regular syrup with a dash of lime. And so I don't know if you've got all the ingredients with you.
I would love to make it with you, to be honest
So
with you.
we're going to make one of those quickly.
I made a cinnamon syrup like you told me to, so I've done all my homework.
So we're going to start off with a bit of ice in here.
Okay, so we're filling the glass
The lime, guys, goes into there. Just if you've got a Mexican elbow, just squeeze it in there. If you don't, use your hand, that's fine as well. Just half a lime is absolutely perfect. Then to that, we're going to add half a shot to 3/4, depending on how sweet you like it. If you like it sweet, you can add a little bit more. I'm just going to go with half a shot of cinnamon syrup.
Okay.
And of course, the important stuff. 2 shots of Gerties, ne? You said it's Gerties. 2 shots. Oh, it's
White or gold?
I think white. I used the gold, but I used white on the weekend.
So which one are we using now, Hector? The white?
Yeah, I use the white. I'm going to try a new one. I used that one on the weekend. Just give that a little shake.
I've left my
Got
shaker.
a proper meal mug, which is important. Fill that 3/4 ice.
You get fired for using a knife.
Once you got your ice in there, then you take your mixture, which should be quite cold now. Fill that in. Then, of course, we top it with some stony or any other fiery ginger beer that you can find. If you can find the extra questa, just that ginger really sings inside it, top it up with that. And then just take yourself 5 or 6 mint leaves, put them in a nice little bouquet.
Hold on, Hector. What are we getting in a bouquet?
The mint leaves, and then just give it a slap and rest it on the top there. And that should be what it looks like.
Smells delicious.
That looks good.
And the most amazing thing, Wilson Toffee's liquid form. It just turns into liquid Wilson's toffee. It's the most amazing thing.
It does, doesn't it?
Just like that. So I think a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of mint, and a last ginger kick, and there we go. So liquid Wilson's toffee.
Can we keep this one as our cocktail?
More than welcome. Just remember, Tim Kelly made it, not me. I'm just
Thanks, Tim.
I see we got a question here from Michael Koopman. He wants to know, cinnamon syrup. I need that recipe. I need to make this one simple. So equal parts sugar and water in a pot with 2 cinnamon quills, or if you don't have quills, then just 2 tablespoons of normal cinnamon. Boil it up until the sugar melts. If you use Demerara sugar, you get a beautiful dark brown syrup. If you want it white, then use white sugar. Oh, sorry, Michelle, not Michael. Sorry, Michelle. I'm getting old. I don't read so lacquer anymore.
How many rums have you had there?
One and a bit. Who's counting?
One, just one.
Yeah. There we go. So at least you got the recipe.
Yes.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you guys want to talk to us about? Is there anything planned in the future? Are you going to go into a spice drum? Like I said, maybe some limited editions with different wood finishes.
We are, yeah, we have held some barrels back for a reserve. I don't think spiced is on the cards for us yet. The one thing about a rum is we don't cheat with it. So there's nothing added after it's been distilled. No colors, no sugars. You know, and I think we want to keep it like that. We want to keep it a pure spice.
Absolutely, and I wish more people would, because we've got all the spices and the bitters as barman, so we can add that in the mixology, which is a whole new thing, you know. So I always believe, you know, starting with a clean forward spirit helps the barman a hell of a lot already. Whereas if it's a cluttered, sort of over busy spirit, it already makes his job harder. So, and I think you've got 2 beautiful clean spirits at least. And they've got a lovely sippable mouthfeel with them. That's why I definitely feel with that dryness, we can definitely go cigar territory here as well. And extra aging, it will be absolutely amazing, I'm sure.
Yeah. Look, in terms of future, it's more about just the awareness now that we have 2 amazing rums. We have entered into the SA Rum Award, so we're holding thumbs that we're gonna,
fingers crossed,
you know, get somewhere there to get some traction in the marketplace. And then it's about educating people how to drink rum and why they should be supporting local. And I think that gin has really helped us with that to some degree, because I think a lot more people are open to trying different things now because of gin. And gin will always have its place. We're not trying to overtake from gin. We're just trying to be a step next to it. So in terms of forward thinking and marketing, I think we are trying to get the bottles onto the shelf. Once the bottles are on the shelf, to start educating how to drink it and what we can do with it. I'm very keen on showing people what you can do with food and rum and desserts. So it's not just for drinking. Obviously, my profession kind of helps me with that. So I've got a couple of recipes on the website. Flambeing steak with our gold rum. It's delicious. So it's more than just drinking it. I think there's so much more we can do with it, but it's going to be a bit of a slow burner. We realize that. But but we're in it for the long haul, and we're able, because we're small and nimble, we're able to adjust course as we feel we need to. So, and that's really quite fortunate, I think, to be honest with you, that we're able to change and be unique. We have got some ideas for some other things, but I think we need to work on these two first before we start bringing out other ideas.
One of the freshest ideas you got tonight was a sherry cask from Hector Macbeth.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no, we've already copyrighted that.
Wait till you see the price of them.
Yeah, exactly. Craig is going to be like, oh my God. And then Brandon's going to be like,
5 times what you paid for your bourbon barrel.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, obviously I would love to get it export, because what we spoke about earlier about South African rums, you know, it's not known out there, and we get a lot of requests on, especially through Instagram, for UK and international interest for South African products. So I would love to explore that, but it's just been really difficult with the exchange rate and getting the things out of the country, and nobody's really knowing, and it's been a bit, but we'll get there. I have no doubt, but we've got lots of plans. We're just running out of time.
Well, I for one am glad that you are pursuing rum. I still think rum is the sleeping giant. In fact, I think Jim upset its trajectory in South Africa because it was really starting to show some traction, and that was just on the imported side. But I'm glad there's a lot more guys getting into rum. And I think if they can stay true to their African roots, because we do things slightly differently, but embrace it as opposed to try and copy a Jamaican style or a rum agricole style, and rather just make your own unique style. I think there's definitely opportunity, and definitely for export. It has to work, because the spirit we produce are pretty solid, I think. So I'm very excited, and good luck with your project. I'm sure you will be successful. And yeah, I can't wait to do a rum dinner with you. That would be very interesting. I'll bring the cigars. Okay.
It might just happen sooner than you think, but yeah, there's lots of things that we can do at the distillery as well, and showing people how we actually make it, and mystery baskets. Sorry, we've got a special guest coming here to say hello.
What's the
we had a special guest all along with Guy. So.
There's two, actually. There's two Ridgebacks. The one is sleeping, the other one wants to be in part of here. So yeah, Sasha and Bentley.
Well, welcome, Sasha and Bentley.
Sasha wants to go outside. That's why she's coming here. But yeah, so we are excited, and it's people like yourselves who get excited about local brands that will actually help move this forward, not just for us, but for all the rum producers that are trying to make it out there. Because essentially, although we're competition, we're actually in it all together. So to build it all, I mean, just referring to the gin again, but brown spirits overall in the world is on the up. It's the same with brandy. Brandy's also on the way up as well. So I think we've timed it right. I just think South Africa is a little bit behind at the moment, and it will get there.
Well, it's been fantastic learning about your rum, and we really appreciate your time this evening. Of course, there's an opportunity for you to win a bottle of each. All you have to do is answer the easy question that will follow on Facebook, and who knows, maybe it will be you. There are some T's and C's, but let's make you a winner of these 2 delicious rums. And of course, if you'd like to buy a bottle or 3 or 6, then head to Liquor City Claremont. That's where you'll find them on the shelf. I think from our side, there's nothing more to say, Hector, than
Slanjava.
Slanjava.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, guys.